welcome back to Storybook Crochet. In today's video we are making part 2 of the baby elephant pattern. If you have not seen part 1 yet, you'll want to go make that, where we make the head and the trunk. So part 2, we're going to be making the body, the ears, and the hair. So you'll want to grab all the yarn that you need for that and your F hook so that we can get started. The link for part number 1 will be down in the description below if you need to go make that part first. So let's grab all of our supplies and we will get started. Okay, so we are going to get started by making the body first. So we're going to use our light gray yarn to start this. And we are going to go ahead and start with a magic ring. And in this magic ring, we are going to make 6 single crochets. Alright, once you have those 6 single crochets made, you're just going to pull that loop closed there. And we are going to start in on round number 2. So again, for this part of our pattern, we are not going to join at the beginning. We're going to just continue working around. So starting in that first stitch from the last round, we're going to put an increase into that stitch. So 2 single crochets into our first stitch there. And then we're going to just repeat that around, making increases all the way around. So put 2 single crochets in each stitch around, and that will give you a total of 12 single crochets for round number 2. Okay, so at this point I'm going to go ahead and grab my stitch marker. Moving on to round number 3, we're going to start by making 1 single crochet in the first stitch, and then we're going to increase in the next stitch. And then we'll just repeat that pattern around as well. So 1 single crochet, and then increase, and you'll do this pattern all the way around for round 3, and that will give you a total of 18 single crochets. Okay, so starting on round 4, we're going to start staggering our increases so that our increases aren't in the same spot for each round. It'll just give a nice rounded off look compared to having your increases all in the same spot. So our first stitch for round number 4 is just going to be 1 single crochet in the first stitch. We're going to increase in the second stitch. Okay, once we do that, we'll start our pattern of 2 single crochets and then increase. So make your 2 single crochets and then increase. So you're going to repeat that 2 single crochets and then increase around. You will have 1 stitch left by the time you do your last increase, and then you'll just single crochet into that last stitch there. And again, doing it this way will stagger our increases, which will it'll just look nicer when you have a bunch of increase rounds together. So that's why we do that. So go ahead and do your 2 single crochets and increase around, and then single crochet into the last stitch for a total of 24 single crochets. Alright, for round number 5, we're going to make 3 single crochets and then increase in that 4th stitch. So make your 3 single crochets across and then increase. So again, you'll just repeat that pattern around, and after round 5 you will have a total of 30 single crochets made. Alright, so moving on to round number 6, again we're going to stagger our increases here. So we're just going to make 2 single crochets over the first 2 stitches there. So 1 and 2, and then increase. And then after this increase, we'll start our pattern of 4 single crochets and then increase around. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then increase. So you'll keep doing your 4 single crochets and then increase around. When you get your last increase done, you'll have 2 stitches left, and you'll just single crochet in those last 2 stitches. So round number 6 will give you a total of 36 single crochets made. Alright, moving on to round number 7, we're going to do 5 single crochets and then increase. Alright, once you have your 5 single crochets made, make your increase. So again, you will repeat this pattern around until you have a total of 42 single crochets made. Okay, so for round number 8, we're going to start with 3 single crochets in the first 3 stitches here. And then increase in that 4th stitch. And then you will start your pattern of 6 single crochets and then increase around. So again, that's 6 single crochets and then you'll increase around. Repeat that pattern all the way around. With your last increase, you'll have 3 stitches left, and then you'll single crochet in those last 3 stitches. And round number 8 will give you a total of 48 single crochets. Okay, so moving on to round number 9, we just have 2 more increase rounds to go here. So for round number 9, you're going to do 7 single crochets and then increase around. And this will give you a total of 54 stitches at the end of round number 9. So again, make your 7 single crochets and then you'll increase in that 8th stitch and just repeat that all the way around. Okay, for our last increase round, we're going to start by making 4 single crochets. And then we'll increase in that 5th stitch. And then you're going to start your pattern of 8 single crochets and then increase around. So again, by the time you get your last increase done, you'll have 4 stitches left. You're going to just single crochet in those last 4. So again, for round 10, 8 single crochets and then increase around. And this will give you a total of 60 single crochets. And again, this is our last increase round for the body of the elephant. Alright, so for rounds 11 through 16, we're just going to put 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So that's a total of 6 rounds, and each of those 6 rounds will be a total of 60 single crochets. So again, rounds 11 through 16, just 1 single crochet in each stitch around. Go ahead and finish off through round 16, and then we will meet back up to start round number 17. Okay, so we have finished our first 16 rounds of the body here. So for round 17, we're going to start our decrease rounds. So to do this, we're going to start off by making 8 single crochets first. Okay, once you have your 8 single crochets made, we're going to make a decrease. And again, I just decrease in the front loops only, just to make it a little bit nicer of a decrease. Okay, so you're going to repeat that around, 8 single crochets and then decrease for a total of 6 times. And that will give you 54 single crochets at the end of round 17. Okay, so for the next 2 rounds, rounds 18 and 19, we're just going to put 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So again, that's 2 rounds. So go ahead and complete those 2 rounds. You'll have a total of 54 single crochets for each round, and we will be back for round number 20. Okay, so for round number 20, we're going to do 7 single crochets. So go ahead and make your first 7 here. And then after your 7, you're going to make your first decrease. Alright, so repeat that pattern around, 7 single crochets and decrease, and this will give you a total of 48 single crochets by the end of round number 20. All right, so moving on to rounds 21 and 22. Again, we are just going to put one single crochet in each stitch around. So for each of these rounds, you will have a total again of 48 stitches. So for 2 rounds, rounds 21 and 22, single crochet around, and we will meet back again for round number 23. All right, for round number 23, we are going to make 6 single crochets and then decrease around. Okay, once you have your 6 single crochet, then make your decrease. And then again, just like before, you're going to go ahead and make that pattern around 6 single crochet and decrease. Round 23 will give you a total of 42 single crochets. Okay, so the last 5 rounds, I'm just going to write up on the screen. We're just repeating what we've been doing. So the next round will be just single crocheting around, then you're going to do 5 decrease, single crochet around, 4 decrease, single crochet around. So again, I'm going to write that up on the screen so you can just read what to do to finish off through round 28, and then I will show you how to finish this off. We'll stuff it and sew it to the head. So go ahead and finish those last few rounds, and then we'll meet back for that part. Okay, so we've now finished crocheting the body, so the next step is to go finish that off. So we're going to slip stitch into that next stitch there to finish this off, and you're going to want to cut a longer tail so that we can sew this on to the head. And go ahead and pull that through. Okay, so now you're going to want to grab your fiber fill and go ahead and stuff the body firmly. Make sure you add enough in there, and then I will show you how to sew this onto the head. Okay, so now that we have the body stuffed and we have our head done here, we can just go ahead and you're just going to place the bottom of the head on top of the body here, and then you're just going to sew around just like we did with the trunk on the head. You're just going to grab a stitch and then grab a stitch on the head and just work your way around. Okay, so go ahead and finish that off. Weave in your ends when you're done, and then we are going to move on and make the ears next. Okay, so moving on to the ears, I've already made one, so you're going to want to follow these instructions and then watch this part again to make your second ear. So I'm going to use this like rose pink here for the inner ear part, and again the same gray for the outer ear part. So we'll start by making the outer ear first. So you'll want to grab your gray yarn, and again we're going to start with a magic ring. This time in our magic ring we're going to make 5 single crochets. Okay, once you have your 5, go ahead and pull that tail to close that. So we are not going to be working in the round this time, we're actually going to be working in rows. So we have our circle closed here. We're not going to work in this first stitch. What we're going to do is chain 1, and then we're going to turn it over, and then we're going to work back across this. So basically we're making a half circle here. So for round 2, you're going to start off by making an increase in the first stitch here, and then single crochet in the second stitch. Okay, so you have an increase and a single crochet. We're going to repeat that one more time. So increase, and then single crochet in the next stitch. So we have increase, single crochet, increase, single crochet, and then we're going to increase in that last stitch there. Okay, so that finishes off round number 2. So we're going to chain 1 and then turn it back over. Okay, so for round 3, we're going to repeat that pattern. We're going to increase and then 1 single crochet. Increase, 1 single crochet. and then do that 2 more times. So this round, round 3, will end in 1 single crochet. All right, when you get that done, chain 1 and turn your piece over. So for round number 4, what we're going to do is increase and then 2 single crochets. Okay, increase 2 single crochets. Just repeat that all the way across till you get to the back to the end, and then we'll move on to round number 5. Okay, so when you get to the end of the round, chain 1 and turn. And for round number 5, we're going to increase and then 3 single crochet. So increase in the first, make your 3 single crochet, and then repeat that 3 more times across. So again, increase 3 single crochet. The end of round 5, you'll have 20 stitches made. Okay, so we have one more increase round, so chain 1 and turn. And for round 6, we're going to increase and then make 4 single crochet. Okay, so repeat that 3 more times, increase 4 single crochet, and then we're going to do the next round will be this shell round here, and that will be our last round for the year. Okay, so moving on to our last round, which will be round 7. Go ahead and make your chain 1 and turn your piece over. So in our first stitch, we're going to start by making 2 half double crochets. So you'll put them in that same stitch that we started in. So 1 half double crochet and then 2 half double crochet. Okay, and so your next stitch, we're going to make a slip stitch. So just pull that yarn through your loop. Okay, now starts our repeat pattern. We're going to make 3 half double crochet in the next stitch and then slip stitch, and you'll just repeat that across. So in that very next stitch after our slip stitch, we'll make our 3 half double crochets. Okay, after your 3 half double crochets, you'll just slip stitch in the next stitch. Okay, and that's all we do for that. So just 3 half double crochet in the next and then slip stitch. So repeat that all the way across till you get to the very last stitch, and then we will finish off the ear, and then we will make the inner ear. So you'll want to grab whatever color you chose for this part. All right, after that last slip stitch, go ahead and cut a long tail for sewing and pull that through, and then we'll just set this aside, grab that second color for your ear, and then we will get started on that. Okay, so for the inner ear, we're actually just going to be repeating everything we did for the outer ear except for the last round with the shells. So you're going to start with your magic ring, and then you're going to make 5 single crochets into that ring. Okay, go ahead and pull that closed, and then we're going to chain 1 and we're going to turn our piece over. For round 2, we're going to increase in our first stitch, single crochet in the second stitch, repeat that one more time, so increase and then single crochet and then increase in that last stitch. Okay, so there's round 2, so we're going to chain 1 and turn our piece over. So for these next few rounds, they're just our repeat rounds. So for round 3, you're going to increase and then 1 single crochet across, and for the next round you're going to increase and 2 single crochet across. So I'm going to go ahead and just write up the rest of that pattern on the screen for you to read. So when you get done with round number 6, you just finish it off like we did with the outer ear. Make sure you have a long tail because we will use that to sew that onto the outer ear. Alright, so our next step is going to be to sew the inner ear onto the outer ear. So I start this by just going through the outer edge here, or sorry, that would be the inner edge here. You're going to sew all the way across, and I just go back and forth here. Just grab a stitch of the pink here and the gray, and just go ahead and stitch across that till it's all secure. So do that, and then I'll show you how I sew it onto this outer part here, and then we will sew these onto our head. Okay, so we have now our inner edge sewn here. So if you can see closely here, there's these little loops here left from our last round. You're just going to use those. You'll just grab one and then come up through the inner ear there to sew this on. So you'll just do that all the way around until the inner ear is completely sewn on and you get back to the beginning. And then you'll just weave that end in, and then we will sew the ears onto the sides of the head. Okay, so I've already sewn on the first ear here. So you're going to come down, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows to have the top of the ear there, and then just find the positioning that you like the best, and then you're going to just turn it over, and then I just sew across the bottom edge here, sew it all the way onto the elephant, and you just do that on the back here. So go ahead and get that sewn on, and then we're going to make the little curly cues, and I'm using the purple here for the hair. So you'll want to grab your color that you want for that after you get your ears sewn on. Okay, so to make the hair, we're going to make 4 of these little curly cues here. They're really quick and easy to make up, and then we'll sew those onto the head. So you're going to want to start with whatever color you chose for this part, and you're going to make a slip knot. And then you're going to go ahead and chain 8. Okay, once you have your 8, we're going to start in that second chain from our hook. And I like to just work in the back loop only for these curly cues. It just finds it easier to find the next stitch when you do this. So for each stitch across, that'll be 7 stitches. You're going to put 3 single crochets in each one. So all 3 in that next stitch. And then in the next one, you'll put 3 more. So go ahead and put all 3 single crochets across in each stitch until you get to the end. This is going to give you a total of 21 single crochets completely, and you'll start to see that it curls up as you go. Okay, so to finish off our curly cue here, just go ahead and pull that out, cut a little bit longer of a tail. We'll use that to sew it onto the head. And then you're going to want to go ahead and weave in this short end here just to get that out of the way. I just come up through the last few stitches here, work that through, and then just cut that off. Alright, so now we're going to sew it onto the head, and you should have your 4 made. So you're just going to take your elephant here. I just sew them around the top round here on the head. So you'll just want to grab a stitch on the head and pull that through. And then I do that a couple of times. Go kind of through the next stitch on the curly cue and the head here. Pull that through and then weave that end. So you're going to want to do that with all 4, kind of going around in a circle on top of the head here. And then make sure you weave on in all those ends, and then you'll be finished with that part. Okay guys, so that finishes part 2 of our elephant pattern here. So if you enjoyed this part of the pattern, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss part number 3. We will be making the tail, the arms, and the legs in that part. So you don't miss that, so that you can finish off your elephant.